Subscribe to the Donnie Houston podcast, man.
Donnie Houston.
Yeah, man, it's going down this Donnie Houston podcast. I am Donnie Houston. Check it out, man. We have a real special guest today. We got a lady in the building, man. You know what I mean? We talk about the Slab. We talk about, just really getting down in the 80s, how it was in the 80s, man. This is the first woman on the Slab. You know what I mean? Just real connected, real, when we talk about the South Side and just a lot of stuff, y'all getting ready to see this is going to be a real good one. Y'all going to enjoy this. And so my special guest for today, man, this is Charlotte. What's going down?
Hi, how you doing, Mr. Donnie Houston?
I'm all right. I got a new couch for you,
I like that.
First conversation I ever had with Charlotte. Hey, Charlotte, how you doing? Yeah, I see you got a new couch. That other one was raggedy and the motherfucker. Listen, baby, I'm just telling you what people probably not telling you. You know what? All right, Charlotte, that's a bet.
I'm happy to meet you, though. You very popular. You a star.
I appreciate
You really a star.
I appreciate it. I'm just, out here trying to tell these stories,
When you got in touch with me, I was like, Donnie want me? Oh, hell yeah, I'm going.
Yeah, you ain't got to worry about watching your mouth either. You good. I know you're trying to say it's cool, be as comfortable as you want. But yeah, I got to talk to you. Like I said, I saw first pictures, you know what I mean, and then just started looking into a little deep into your story and just saw how major and important and just how much you were there for like the building of just this Southside culture, just to everything that went down in the 80s, the Slab, the everything. You know what I'm saying? So I had to have you on here.
Yeah, but I ought to flip the strip. I ought to be interviewing you.
What you want to know?
You've been out there a long time.
A little bit.
You've been DJing ever since you was in school and college and stuff.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it's just trying to make it like everybody else,
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, but about you, see, I ain't gonna let you come on here and interview me. This ain't about me today. This is all about you, Miss Charlotte. So tell me, coming up in the dead end area, is that where you initially came from in Houston, from that side?
Well, the dead end was Kingsgate, New Orleans, and Summerwood. And the street is open up now where you can go straight out MLK, but it used to be blocked off where you can't get by.
At Orem, right?
Yeah, before you get to Orem,
yeah.
right past Kingsgate and New Orleans, and then it went down to Orem. So I don't consider the VA as the dead end, because we was on Selensky.
Right.
And on Selensky, you can go out to the right, to the left, on South Acres, everything. So I don't consider the VA as the dead end. Everybody said dead end, but we weren't in the dead end.
And see, that's the clarity, because I was talking to Stick about this and asking them, like, people say dead end, and they say the VA dead end. But then when I go over there, I'm like, okay, really, we going really towards airport. Like, how far is the dead end start, and what, you know what I mean? We know where the end at, but where does it start at? But the real dead end is just those last set of apartments at the end.
Kingsgate, New Orleans, Summerwood, all that, that's the dead end. The VA is the VA. We stand by ourselves.
Not South Acres, none of that.
None of that. We the VA. We the vicious animals.
And see, I was getting ready to say this. So when you grew up, that's what you knew as a child. That's all you've known.
The VA, the vicious animals. And we ran for now. We turned into some pit bulls.
What made, because you were telling me, that your mom had you at a younger age. So talk about like just what even shaped you like growing up,
Well, Juanita is the cause of me and Roger being out in the streets, because my mom was always gone. She was always gone, always running behind some man, always in the club, and she was never at home. Sometimes we didn't see our mom to 2 or 3 days or so. And so by me being the second oldest, I was trying to, look around in the house, see what I could find to eat, to fix us and stuff, because she wasn't never there. My brother Roger gonna be mad at me by talking about it, but I don't care, because she was never there. It's a difference between a mother and a mama. A mama is somebody that just had you. A mother's gonna take care of her children, and she never took care of her children. And my brother and sister them cherished her today like she was just a perfect mom, and she wasn't. She was never there. And that would cause me to get out in the street because I'm hungry. So I'm finna get out in the street and do what I gotta do to make it. And that's how I got out in the streets.
And so you jump out when you first start. Do you get out into hustling first, like with dope and all that, or like
Yes,
that's the
I started off
outside?
with rocks.
What year is this though? Because rocks, we talking about like what 84, 5, 6 up in there.
80,
80.
1980.
So it wasn't. They didn't call it crack. It was freebase or whatever. It was just rocks.
Is this rocks cocaine?
Oh shit. Okay. How do you even at 14 years old, 15 years old? How do you even get into that? Especially being a girl, like to say, all right, this is this. You need to go here and do this and this. You know what I mean? Who's giving you the game to even jump out there?
Well, you're looking at the street life, and you get out there, you go to a certain person, and you be like, I want to get in the street. Just like it's the same thing as that's in the movie. I want to get in the street. I can do it. Let me hustle. And then this person be like, show me what you got. And this person front you. You go out there, you sell on rocks, you bring the money back. You let that person know that you are capable of doing these things. And then it's on for now. It go from rocks to ounces to kilos.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Was it as? Because I mean, I know once like the mid to late 80s, it was so wide open. Was it that easy to like get money like that when you first jumped out there, or you had to really go out there and find, where the money was?
No, it was that easy because I knew a lot of people that was in the game. They was young too, but they was already established in the game. And I knew I can go to certain people and say, I want to do this, I want to do that. And they gave it to me. I ain't never had no problem with not getting it from them.
I'm saying even you getting off of yours, like far as like, because it was a bunch of fiends when you talk about mid late 80s. We talk about like how that pandemic was, but like or epidemic, whatever the fuck. But but the first, was it like that? You know what I mean? Like that many people just outside to where, because some people talk about the crack area like you could just come outside and people are gonna come up to you and ask you for it, versus you having to go out and find, okay, these are my stains over here, these are my.
Yeah, they did because once they find out that you got it, they coming to you. Because if the regular person ain't got it that they usually go to, and they find out, oh, Charlotte got the rocks now, I'm going to her. Some people was higher on the price than other people was. So the crackheads and stuff that's running around, they gonna try to go to the cheapest one. And so by me first getting out there, I might sell a dime for $8, and a dime supposed to be $10. So they gonna come to me. So then this person getting mad because I'm stealing their customers, and that's how you start a war.
And see, that's what I was gonna ask you. How are you protecting yourself out there, or are people looking out for you when you go out on the block? Like a couple guys might come with you. Like, what's your strategy for protection out there?
That's how I got my respect. Guns was my best friend. And if I'm setting a rock for 8 and you setting for 10 and you confront me, nigga, while you talking, I already got this pistol to your head. What you say? Nigga, what you say? I earned my respect.
Oh, you jumping out there like that?
Oh, yeah. You had to. I had to come out there hard like that because if I didn't, the men's was going to take advantage of me being a female out there in them streets. So you come to me with something, ain't no conversation. I'm going straight for your head. And that nigga ain't come back and mess with me no more. I can sell my rocks for $8, $7, anything I want to. But I got to watch my back though. Because I done already deal with this nigga. I done already put a gun to his head. I got to be careful.
Now you created an enemy.
Enemy.
Yeah. And this is you 15, 16 doing this?
15, 16, 17. Roger got out there at 15.
And so did you introduce your brother to it, or he just one day you came out and he was like, Roger, what you doing out here?
No, he just saw it. He just saw how the street was going, and he jumped out there on his own. He jumped out. I did talk to him about it one time. I did talk to him about it one time. And next thing you know, he was out there. He was out there doing his thing, and he was worse with that pistol than I did.
He was more on the aggressive side.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is wild. So, okay, All this is going on. How much money are you like seeing around this time, like 16, 17, still in high school? Like,
Well, a day, it depends on how much work we got. We may make 2,000 a day, 5,000 a day, 10,000 a day. It depends on how much work you got, how many hours you got. I think I started off like making 2,000 a day, and then it just went up and up and up.
$2,000 a day? Are you saving money or are you spending it as fast as it's coming?
Well,
Because that's a
I
lot of
have-
money in 1980. $2,000.
Yeah, putting it up. We ain't hungry no more. You know,
Yeah.
we eating, but as I got 17 to 18 years old and 19 years old, all I wanted to buy was Cadillacs and jewelry and clothes and cars. So the fast I was making the money, the fast I was spending. I might roll over in the morning and say, I want another Cadillac. I had 6 in the yard at one time and 18 years old. And I got 6 Cadillacs, 19 years old. I got 7 Cadillacs. I just jump up and spend money. But if I knew then what I knew today, I'd be rich. Because I was just spending money, just.
Okay, you jump out there, your brother jumps out there. Now y'all's like stepbrother Keith Babin is around y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all in the same house?
Yeah. In the VA, he used to always come spend the night at our house, spend the night at the Menifee's house. He used to be all over the VA. Everybody knew us. He used to be everywhere. Mm-hmm.
And so then he turns on to Keith. Now, is the slab thing going on at this time?
Yeah.
How early do you remember seeing slabs?
I had my first slab at 18. I had a 1976 Cutlass with swingers on it. The music. I had the belts on the trunk. Back then, the belts on the trunk was black. They had black belts. Now they got silver trunk, and I had everything. Then that was my first slab. I was all up and down the boulevard.
Man, okay. So what is your mom saying when y'all starting to come up and y'all getting this money and all this? Or she still just out doing her? She just out the way.
She out doing her thing, but long as she was getting her money, she was fine. You know, long as you taking care of mom, she fine and stuff. Until the stuff go down, when you get busted and all that, you know. When I went to jail, she wasn't never there, not one day. But when I was out of jail and giving you money, it was fine.
So when did you ended up going to jail, like later on in life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was in my 20s.
Yeah. So okay, you in your teens, 17, 18. You, your brother, Keith Babin, y'all all out there. Can you just paint the picture of just what that scene was like, 81, 82? What, you know what I mean? What it was looking like.
Well, in the VA, it used to be a lot of shooting, a lot of dice games, a lot of cars coming in and out, slabs and everything. My son, a little bitty boy, running around the VA, setting all the dumpsters on fire.
Because you had your first child when you were 14, right?
18.
18, okay, 18, right.
18. He running around the VA, setting all the dumpsters on fire. My best friend Bree, her son Eric, him and my son, we grew up together, best friend, and our 2 boys grew up together, best friends. They just running around tearing up the VA, and it wasn't blocked off like it is now. Like they got a gate around it. Mm-hmm. It wasn't blocked off. They couldn't have that around it with us, and we can go out on South Acres or Salinscott, anything, and we just ride by there and meet up with our dealers and get our work and stuff like that.
Does Keith, because I mean you sound like you're pretty heavy at this time, but Keith, like, how does he start coming up so quick? Or y'all, or would you say y'all were around the same level and he just like kind of kept?
No, we was in there before Keith. When Roger got Keith in the game, I found out Keith was business minded and Roger was trigger happy. So when Keith got in the game and got to getting his work and hooking up with this person and hooking up with that person, he took off. He ended up real big. Then he got the studio, and he got Street Military produced him. He named the studio Gerard's Records after his son. That's his son name.
I was wondering who Gerard was.
Mm-hmm. That's his son. And then Keith he got in the game. He bought a drop top Chevrolet, painted that cream. Then he got the 2 Chryslers and the van and stuff. He was real business minded. I mean, you put $1 in Keith's hand, by nightfall, that dollar gonna turn in to about $50, $60. He's real business minded.
Okay, so does cause is Smitty around y'all at this time?
Yeah.
That young? Like how early? Like
Smitty, well, when we was out there, Smitty was young too, cause Smitty today should have been in his 50s.
probably almost 60, I would imagine.
Yes, yeah. Smitty was out there then, cause me, Smitty, and Keith, and all us right there together. But I ain't older. Smitty almost 60. I ain't older than him. But
I
he
could be
was,
wrong, but I would imagine he's later 50s. I would
yeah,
imagine, for
if
sure.
he would have been living. But he was right there with us. He stayed over off of Cullen on that street called I know the name of that street, but Smitty was real cool though. That's my nigga. I love him to death.
So wait, you knew him back because everybody talk about how big he was. You talking about being outside? Like this is like early before seeing him become who he became. Like, can you just talk? Because I mean, it's a lot of questions around. You know what I mean? He's like a mysterious.
Yeah, Smitty
guy.
was already in the game when I got in the game.
Yeah.
He was already there.
He was already heavy in the game, or
He was already heavy in the game because like everybody talk about Smitty with the Benz and the Rolls Royce and stuff, but everybody forget about that green Cadillac that he had with the beige top on it. That's what he used to roll in every day. When I met him, he was in that Cadillac, and we became good friends with each other. I can go to Smitty and talk to him and about anything and get anything from him. I pull up to his house in my slab, get in one of his slabs, and he be like, Charlotte, be careful, you know. He good people.
It's crazy because you always hear that, and then people just talk about just how ruthless he was on the other side. Like,
when you make him mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. It was like you had to trigger him. It wasn't just.
Yeah, you have to do something to Smitty for Smitty to go crazy like that. Cause Smitty good people. They're just like me or you. If somebody come at us the wrong way or do something to us, you know, like I say, everybody got 2 sides to them. You got a good side and you got a bad side. But people have to bring that bad side out of you. And Smitty was really good people. Like him and Johnny Hickman was good friends. Mm-hmm. Smitty killed Johnny Hickman because they got into it behind whatever they got into it with. You know, money bring a lot of evil.
I didn't know him. I figured he might have, but I didn't know that about him and Johnny Hickman being cool.
Yeah,
first.
they was cool with each other. All of us was cool with each other.
Johnny Hickman, was he on the north side or he was on the south side?
Johnny Hickman used to be to my house all the time in the VA. You know, he used to be to my, that's Keith right there. He used to be to my house all the time in the VA, Johnny Hickman was. And just like people say Johnny Hickman was ruthless, but you had to come at him the wrong way for him to be ruthless at you, you know.
And he was around y'all's age too. Another young guy out there with y'all. Damn. So, okay, talk about when it becomes like the whole crack era of 83, 84, 85. Like, how did that change from when you first got in the game to that? Or did you see it as like it's just another year, it's the same thing? It's
just another year, but the money got bigger because more crackheads, more people feeding. The work got bigger. By then, it's more people that I can go to get my work from instead of just this person here, this person now, you know.
So you and Keith, y'all wasn't working like that. Y'all was just, everybody was just cool.
No, I ain't want to do business. I ain't want to do business with Keith when it came down to that. We did a little business, but I never bought nothing from him. If he needed something ran somewhere or needed me to drop off something, I did it for him. But it was only one guy that I bought my work from. And he not here today, so it wouldn't make a difference. But Lynn, you heard of Lynn?
About Lynn, yeah.
That's the only person that I bought my work for. And nobody never knew where I was getting my work from, but it came from Lynn.
And he was in Dead End.
He was in the Dead End, but he stayed in the homes. The homes before you get to New Orleans and Kingsgate down there.
Yeah, I heard the name Lynn. So what kind of cat was he? Was he older or he was around your age? And just
he was around our age. He little skinny cat like stick, you know, real cool, nice, you know. When he got killed, the nigga killed him on Barefoot coming out of the restaurant getting something to eat, trying to rob him. He was in his record truck because he drove record trucks, but he was real good people. He was real good people. I had picked up 7 ounces from him one day, and this dirty cop, he would bother me all the time. Me and Jonathan Riley and all us, he would harass us all the time. And every time he see my car, I can be going one way, he be going another way, and he'd turn around. A lot of times I saw him and I made a quick U-turn and lost him. But I had 7 ounces in my car, and I had a stash real good. Was leaving Lynn's house, and I was going home. And I pulled up in the driveway, and my daughter ran to the door. She said, "Mama, you ain't get my food?" And I said, "Oh, babe, I forgot." And I jumped in the car, and I bagged out to go get her food. Then when I got out on the American, there go the dirty cop. There go the dirty cop. And I was finna pull in the Burger King, get us something to eat, and he pulled me over. Boy, he tore my car up. He took all the woofers out, the radio. He took everything out and put it on the ground, the seats, everything. And he had a white lady car with it. And
He took the seats out?
he took everything out my car because
He just knew.
He just a dirty cop. He wanted me so bad. He always mess with us. He know what we do, but you can't never catch us. And I had my stuff hid so good, I had it hid. So when other laws got there, they say, "Man, we done searched the car, we can't find nothing." And he like, nah, wait a minute. I want to look again. I say, "Oh, Lord have mercy. I got to put my own car back together. And you done took all my seats, everything out." So he kept on searching and searching. So it was a big toolbox up under the thing where the speakers go. And when you take the toolbox out, up under the tools, that's where I had the ounces at. And he just digging and digging and digging and digging. And he finally found it. I said, "Oh, God." He wouldn't give up. So he handcuffed me, and he bust me in my face, and my nose just started bleeding real bad. And I told the white cop, I said, "You gonna let him do this to me? You just gonna stand there and let him hit me for no reason? He done found the stuff. He just handcuffed me and hit me." So she turned her back. So he arrested me. We get downtown. He tell me, damn, my face messed up because I resisted arrest. He knocked the mess out of me. He had my nose and everything swole.
Was that your first time getting handled like that by the laws?
Yeah, getting handled that way.
And you was how old at this time?
I had to be like 21 then.
No shit.
I had to be like 21. He was a dirty cop. They finally found out about him and got rid of him, but he used to do Jonathan Riley like that and all us. He was real dirty.
Man, so y'all out there, are you seeing little Troy around this time too?
Mm-hmm. He used to be in Kingsgate down in the dead end and stuff.
Man, okay. So tell me, because talk about just riding the slab and like how you had to even be on point. You know what I'm saying? Like back then, just because how, everybody couldn't ride like that.
Yeah, when I come out the door, I don't know why, but I love Cadillacs and I love 357s. I just love me some 357s, and I always had 2, a chrome one and a black one, but that chrome one was my favorite. And when I ride, I always had them 2 pistols by me at all times, because I know eventually somebody gonna try me by me being a female and stuff. And they tried me a couple of times, and I will always, when you ride on slabs like right now, you always got to watch your mirrors. Because like back then, it wasn't enough rims for everybody. So a lot of people's life was taken behind these rims because you either couldn't afford them or they didn't have anymore.
Because they were what, like 10,000 at the time? How much were you paying at
Well,
that
when
time?
I first got my first set for the 76 Cutlass, everybody wanted to wear them then, and Shannon on Reed Road and MIK at the tie shop didn't know what they was worth. So I got them for $900. But when they started coming out, the swingers came from the dealership. You know that in 1984 on I think on the Eldorado. that they done made on, because Corey Blunt was one of the first ones go to the dealership and buy them.
So Corey Blunt was the first one to come with swangers from the dealership.
From the Air Dog. He went and bought him an Air Dog. He was one of the first ones that got him from the dealership.
You remember seeing this?
Yeah, he used to, the VA right here in Corey Blunt house, and that corner house and stuff, and we couldn't have do nothing but see each other every day.
Man.
All us used to hang out at Reed Road and MLK at the car wash. Then we took it years later. We took it down to the car wash on Doolittle and all us. All us saw each other every day. Every day.
Yeah. So we were talking about just how you ride. You saying, you ride, you had your two with you.
Yeah. I kept my pistols with me. If somebody pull up on the side of me that wasn't trying to do nothing to me, and I felt they was trying to do something, I always got my hand on. You can't be out there just hustling and riding on slab or riding on clean car with empty handed. What you gonna do when somebody run up on you? So I kept something with me.
Did somebody give you this game, or you just already knew, like, nah, if I'm finna get on this slab, I got to be ready?
No, I'm looking at the streets. I picked up, ain't nobody teach me nothing. Not as a child, not as nothing. Everything I learned on my own. I saw how the streets was gone. Like, I always been around crackheads and alcoholics and stuff like that. Like my mama, she drank a lot. She drank a big bottle of Crown a day, drank her beer all day, and I always grew up looking. And I say, I don't want to be like that. Who want to be a crackhead?
I was gonna ask you. So you stayed away from just all that
alcohols, smoking cigarettes, and I don't never do none of that, because I'm looking at these people to do it, and I don't want to be like that. And I see some whole families as crackheads, alcohol, and I'm like, why are you looking at this person and the way they is, and you want to grow up?
Thing.
Yeah. Why would you want that? I don't want that.
How much of an effect, or are you just going through life, you know what I mean, like as far as with your mom and like y'all kind of having y'all's disconnect when all this is going on, is that having any effect on you, or you just going through life just like,
I'm just going through life not giving a damn. Not giving a damn about how the mama treats you or nothing, not giving a damn about, like I see a lot of people nowadays, they grown women, they 30 and 40 years old. You still worrying about not never having your dad around. Why? I don't care. That don't bother me. Because if my daddy had sex, it was in his 30s something, and had sex with a 14, 15-year-old girl, I feel like what he would have did to his own daughter. Because nowadays, some daddies have sex with their children.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't never
So
want that.
that was a situation with your mom and your dad?
Yeah.
So did you ever meet him or no?
No. I wouldn't have never wanted to meet him. The way I was out there, I probably would have blown that nigga brains out. I wouldn't have never, and I don't understand why it bothers so many females that they never saw their dad. That never bothered me. It never bothered me. I don't know, is it because I was so wild out there in the street, just not caring, but it never bothered me. I don't even want to meet nobody like that.
That's interesting. You a tough one, Charlotte.
Donnie, you had to be out there in them streets to survive. You had to. If I would have fell out in them streets weak, I probably wouldn't even have been here today. You had to.
Was it any times where you would, because I mean, everybody gonna try you in the streets. Were there any times where you was like, man, I don't really know if I even want to continue like being out here?
Only time when I had went to jail that one time, and my homeboys. You
talking about what we was just talking about?
Yeah. My homeboys down was taking care of my kids. And they was taking care of, none of my family was taking care of my children. And they would bring them up there to see me, and my daughter hair. They tried to fix her hair, and I just didn't like the way my children looked. And I said I didn't never want to take my children through that again. And that's the only thing that got me out of the streets was my children.
So, but when you got caught with those 7 ounces though, and they took you in, what?
I was 20-something then, but I got caught later on in life, way down the line.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Was that your first time with the cop when they took you in that time?
Yeah.
And so, how long did you have to stay for the 7 ounces?
Well, for the 7 ounces, I did almost 2 years, and then I did like 10 years of probation.
So you get out, and then what year is it like when you get out?
Like 80, 89, 90 or something like that.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it had to be because I was like in my 20s by then, like 21, 22. So it had to be like 80, no, I'd say like 87, 88, something like that. I don't quite remember what year, but it was in the 80s.
Somewhere up in there, late age. Man, so when you get out, like, what's your thought process? You know what I mean?
Well,
You get back to it.
I got to stay in the street a little bit longer. Because I done paid all this money for the lawyers.
Did you lose a lot of? I mean, of course you lose some money, but did you lose a substantial amount of money within?
Yeah,
2
a lot
years?
of money. You really price you got to get back out there and start over again, because when you out here, like I said, when I was out here first, wasn't saving no money. I'm just buying
spending,
cars
yeah.
and jewelry and everything. You ain't saving no money.
And you got 6-7 lakhs parked in the VA.
In the house in Broadway.
Okay. So when y'all moved to Broward,
Oh, let's see when that was. When we left.
this was
home.
before you got caught with the 7.
Yeah, it was before. So it was in the 80s.
And then who was all over there with y'all?
It was me, Keith, and Roger Rabbit stayed in that house with my children and Keith's girlfriend.
That's crazy to hear y'all stayed in the house in the neighborhood I grew up in. That's
Yeah.
that's crazy as hell.
Yeah, over there in Broadway.
So y'all over there, so you just coming back to the dead end of that area just to hustle and everything, and then coming back to the Clark to go to sleep.
Going back over there and hustle, because I ain't never let nobody know where I laid my head at. I'm like that today. I'm like, people don't even come to my house. My best friend, all them, a lot of them don't even know where I stay, because when I'm at home, I'm at home. When I'm out socializing, I'm out socializing. But
You like to keep the two completely
yeah,
separate,
I like being to myself. I don't have much trust in people.
Yeah. Can you talk? Because it was a situation we were talking about. You know, riding. You had got into a like a little Jackings situation, going to Smitty's party or something like that.
Yeah,
To the birthday party you was
Both
having?
our birthday was in June, and
Is this the party he had? It was supposed to be at like some hotel or something.
Yes.
This was that party.
You
I heard
remember,
about that.
huh? Yeah.
I just heard somebody. My boy told me he was a kid and went to it.
oh, he did.
And
He snuck in the
and
party,
he
huh?
described it to me. He went with his sister, who was friends with Smitty, I think, and he was just tagging along. And the way he described it, I was like, "This sounds like some balling ass shit." Like,
Yeah.
to do that I'm just a street cat, and this type of party I'm finna put together. That's crazy.
Yeah. And another time I was going down Elmita, Genoa, going back to, I was staying in Missouri City then. I was in my baby lack. I had a baby blue lack that was fixed up. And I was riding home, and I looked through my mirror, and this car keep on following me. So I speed up, flying down Elmita, Genoa, and they saw it flying too. Then they pull on the side of it. And when they was coming on the side of it, that's when I let my window down. And they pull on the side of them, and I saw the gun. And I just started shooting, and we started shooting at each other. And I had just, about 2 days before that, I had just went to the Cadillac place and got a brand new grill put on the front of my car. That grill ran me over $1,000 and some dollars. I had it about 2 days. And it was something in the street. I think it was a dog in the middle of the street. And I'm in a jack and chase. I can't stop and protect the dog. So I hit the dog. And then when we got Elmita in 288, and we had the shootout.
Oh, this is going on this whole time y'all doing this.
Uh-huh.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
Is it what time of day is this? Nighttime or daytime?
This nighttime. This nighttime. I'm on my way home to Mo City, and I'm having a shootout with these niggas in my. The other thing was Smitty party was in my yellow Cadillac, but this in here was in my baby blue light. So, I guess they thought just because I was a female, maybe I ain't had nothing on me, but I'm tearing their car up, I'm shooting. So they on the side of them. So when we get an Elmita to 288 just now, they pull in front of them and they take off and they jump on the freeway and they go. And they gone.
And this was after the Smitty party incident. Mm-hmm. Okay, so talk about that one because that one sounds crazy. How you just went on and kept, you kept on with the night.
Yeah, I got ready. To go to the party, and I was going down MLK, and I saw two cars sitting at the car wash on Doolittle right there. One was a light blue, real light blue Cadillac with two roofs cut in the top. It had a white top with two roofs cut in the car. I'll never forget that car. And it was another car. So by the time I get up to 610 in MLK at the red light, one of the cars, not the blue Cadillac, the blue Cadillac is behind me. I don't know it at the time, but I don't realize it's behind me. The other car pulled on the side of me. So they playing their music, I'm playing my music. The window cracked a little bit. So I looked straight at the light, and I guess they eased their car door open. So when they eased the car door open, all I felt was a lot of pain upside my head because they done knocked it, man. They done hit me so hard, I mean, blood just running down my face. Running down my face. And by then, I reached for the gun. And so the guy in the car saying, shoot the bitch and get the car. But the guy that hit me with the gun, for some reason, he don't want to shoot me. I don't know that they think it was a guy in the car first or what, but for some reason, he don't want to shoot me. So he arguing with the nigga in the car. So when he turned and argued with the nigga in the car, I shoots him, blasting at it, and start shooting in the car. And I realized another car behind me, so I takes off. And it's a police station on Griggs. It's still there. Mm-hmm. So I takes off and I go to the police station and they follow me. And I turn in the police station, and when I turn in the police station, they keep straight and they going on. So I go in there and Big Hicks is in there. So I tell Hicks, because Hicks...
Who is Hicks?
Police officer.
Okay.
He used to cut for us in the streets.
I hope Hicks, I hope he retired. Yeah.
He in there and I tell him what happened, and he's, Charlotte, you don't know the license plate number? I was like, Hicks, I ain't got time to get no license plate number. I could just tell you.
And you in here head bleeding, all this.
How the car was. So I tell him what happened. I went in the restroom and cleaned up and stuff. He said, where you finna go? I said, I'm finna go to a party. So I get to the party, and I get in there and I tell Smitty what happened. And Smitty say, Charlotte, why you ain't get out that car and get out? I said, Smitty, you know me. You know I ain't finna get out my car and get them niggas in the car. He said, yeah, right. I don't even know why I asked you that dumb question.
Can you talk about this party? Because my boy was telling me, he was like, man, this is when he was dating Pepper. I remember seeing Pepper there, and this was going on. Can you talk about this big party? And was this his last birthday party or one of the last parties that he had?
It was one of the last parties I went to that he had, so it might have been, but everybody was there. Everybody you can name was there to that party. We had a good time. Even after I went through all that, I had a good time. We had a good time at that party. Everybody you can name was there.
When you say, you talking about like as far as street cats, or was it like major like entertainers and all these other different types of people?
Some of them too, and street cats, because Smitty knew everybody on the street. Everybody out there that's making money, Smitty knew them. And that's why he had to give it at a big hotel ballroom and stuff, because there was so many people. But everybody was there. It was like being at a BET Awards.
No shit.
After the BET Awards, how they had them big parties and stuff, everybody was there. Smitty was the man.
Yeah, he was. I hear he was a guy, man. So, but does he end up? He's up dying like not too long after this though.
When he died in 92. 92, I think.
92, somewhere up in there.
And what year the party was? I don't even much know what year the party was, but I know he died in 92.
Yeah, people were saying that. I heard people saying like it was like people thought he faked his death or something like that. Or he was on this other crazy stuff.
I used to get so mad when I hear people say Smith alive or something. Man, I stood up to that casket so long they had to get me away from that casket. He had it on his Kazaa glass and everything. Smith was in that casket. He ain't faking his death. They say that about Tupac.
Yeah, which is crazy to me because it's like to be a street cat and have that much like whatever it is, influence, power, likability, whatever, to where people would go to believe that. And we talking about the only other people we hear them type of rumors about is Tupac. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Elvis Presley. These are the type of people you talk about faking their death. You know?
Yeah, no, he ain't fake his death. People ain't got nothing else to do with their life but come up with all kind of lies and stuff.
Yeah.
That's not true. If he faked his death, why Kenneth Bell did time and stuff?
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
You have to think about that. He wouldn't be doing no time if he was faking his death.
Yeah, right. That's the person who shot him. They was friends.
Mm-hmm.
They were friends.
Yeah. He shot him on accident.
Yeah.
You know.
How did people react to that because of that? It wasn't like an enemy or nothing. It was just like a real accident. You know what I mean? It was a real accident. Like,
yeah, him and Kenneth Bell was, you know, like brothers. You know, like me and Keith Babin. He's like brothers and stuff. And I mean, I took that hard. Houston took that hard. You know, Smitty he meant a lot to a lot of people. You know, and just sitting here thinking about it, you know, make me down because I miss him so much.
What's something if you had to like think of like your favorite Smitty memory or just like something that speaks to who he really was, you know?
Him pulling up in that darn Rolls Royce, like, nigga, where you get a Rolls Royce from?
The first time you saw him in the Rolls Royce.
Yeah, he came on the MLK. I'm like, who is that in that Rolls Royce? Nigga pull up in the Rolls Royce, let the window down and spit it. Oh my God, I ain't surprised.
Because nobody was doing it like that. Everybody was on the slab, but you talking about Rolls Royce. It's a whole nother...
I would have never thought nobody come down MLK that live in South Park or Sunnyside or wherever in a Rolls Royce. That tripped me out. I say I am not surprised.
Yeah. So, okay, that goes on. And does Keith Babin go to jail before Smitty gets killed, or all this is like the same time?
Let me remember. Was Smitty dead? I think, if I'm for sure, I don't want to be wrong, I think Keith Babin went to jail after Smitty death. After Smitty had done passed away. Yeah, he did, because he went to the feds. And Lil Troy and Keith Babin and all them was locked up on the same unit in the feds. Yeah, Lil Troy, Keith Babin, Marvin Bear from the north side. Was a lot of guys in there when we go visit that was in there from South Park. So yeah, it was after Smitty there. And you know when Carrington started jumping.
That's what I was going to say. Tell me about that Carros, man. How early? Because this was before they knocked it out and it became a full club. This was just when y'all was going shooting pool and it was just that type of vibe. Like. And
then it got bigger and bigger. They opened it up and Carrington's was the lick. And that's another thing with Smitty. Oh, Smitty. I didn't even know he was getting into it with some guys up there one night. And I was in my yellow Cadillac with the burgundy top. All I heard was gunfire. Smitty and some niggas had got into a shootout. And the policemen that's supposed to be at the club protecting everybody, they the first ones on the ground trying to get from trying to run for cover. All you saw is the laws trying to run for cover and stuff. And then when Smitty and them got through shooting, my radiator had about 40 bullet holes in it. So Smitty got it towed to the house, the next day towed to the shop and got it fixed and stuff. He got it fixed and stuff, but it was a big shootout in that parking lot. And the parking lot used to be packed, and I'm surprised people didn't get hit.
Yeah, I mean, the way you talking about how them bullets was going, I mean.
Yeah, I think my radiator caught most all of it.
Man, that's crazy. So, Carros, that was a spot on the south.
That was the lick. I remember one night I walked up in there and over to the right-hand side. I say, hey, Pat. Pat standing in the corner, Fat Pat standing in the corner. Hi, I don't know what to my hey, Charlotte.
Okay, so that's right, because you was over there with Fat Pat and Hawk and like all them KK and all, like talk about that, like the guys that ended up becoming to be rappers and all that.
Yeah. But when we used to hang out at the car wash and stuff, Fat Pat used to be with Corey Blunt all the time. They used to ride together all the time.
They were younger than you though, right?
Yeah, they was on us, but all us hung together though. All us was in that same group. I guess wasn't nobody worrying about the age or nothing. We was just all
everybody just hustling, everybody cool,
on our hustling and stuff. And Fat Pat and all us And Santana and Chris down from Hiram Clark and all them.
Okay, wait. You just said a name because I was asking Stick about this. I just heard about Santana and Chris, the brothers.
They was from Hiram Clark.
They was okay. See, they had them on the internet and said they was from South Park. That's why I even asked
No,
Stick
they
about
weren't
them.
from South Park. They was from Hiram
Clark.
Clark. They used to hang out in South Park every day. That's probably why people thought they was from South Park. They used to be up to the car wash with us every day. Every day.
And them boys was pretty live, like I heard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They had Riveras
Yeah.
on swingers and everything. They made a bunch of money, especially Chris. Chris used to make a bunch of money and stuff.
Yeah, and they all died young. Both of them died young.
Yeah. Mama lost both of them, like Fat Pat and Hawk. Mama lost both of their sons and stuff.
Damn. Did any of that? Because I mean, you starting to as you get into the game, you talking about Smitty gets killed, Key Babin goes to jail, this one get killed, that one get killed. Is any of that having a toll on you, or you just still moving? Like, man, it's life. We just gotta keep going.
No, cause I don't know. They used to call me crazy Charlotte. I just didn't. It's just the way that I was brought up. I just put in that mind frame not to never care about nothing. I ain't care about nothing but my children. If it wasn't concerning my children, it wasn't concerning nothing. I ain't care about nothing. I was just out there in the street. I'm like, it is what it is.
Just the job I signed up for.
Like I said, I had to be like that. I just turned into a crazy maniac. People couldn't run up to me and say certain stuff or do certain stuff. Or it was on.
Oh, you was off like that. Damn, Charlotte. So okay, that goes on. Smitty dies. Smitty gets killed. Key Babin goes to jail. Your brother gets, he goes in. Now we in the 90s. You still hustling.
Still hustling. Back in the day, we used to hang out at Elmeda skating ring. And one thing about Keith, every time Keith had a problem with a female, he'd get on that phone and he called me to come take care of the female. Because he wouldn't put his hands on no female. So we at Elmeda skating ring one night. And this girl tried to talk to Keith. Keith wouldn't talk to her, so she throwed a soda on Keith. So I'm at the skating ring too. So Keith called me and say, come take care of this heifer. So I went and got the girl and I beat her and she jumped in her car and tried to take off and I shot her back windows and stuff out and she took off and stuff. But every time they would get into it with a female or something, even if it wasn't no female, like the shootouts we had at Reed Lounge and the Benz Club and
so my it's crazy you said Reed Lounge. That was my kind of like my uncle through marriage. That was his spot.
Oh, that was his place?
Yeah, and Paul Miller, Turning Point and all them. Paul Miller's my dad's best friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Y'all used to go to Turning Point and all that, or what?
I went in the Turning Point in the inside. I used to hang out outside. I went in the inside one time and I ain't like it. It was just too tight up in there. I'm like, I'm a shooter. I'm paranoid. I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. And when we was in there one night, a guy hit this girl on her butt and she took a razor and cut him from one side of his neck to the other. And I said, well, that
right
nigga,
there in the club.
That nigga won't never touch nobody else.
Yeah, see that.
That nigga won't never touch nobody else.
Man, okay, so you in the 90s and you still hustling. Because you said you got locked up later on. Mm-hmm. What ended up leading up to that and around what time was this like?
It was right before Keith then went to the feds. Because I used to collect to Keith phone all the time. I had got locked up that time because every time the laws stopped me, I get a gun case. I had about 30 gun cases. So it was on gun charges then when I got locked up. And I think I only did like 6 months or something on the gun case. And then I came back out again on probation. I had to do probation again, going over there by the turning point to that probation officer over there and had to do community service. I did community service at a church. I ain't do nothing though. They just sign off on my paperwork and stuff like that. But
so you didn't have to ever go in for hustling after the 7 ounces? No shit.
That was the only time just like Roger was out there hustling. Roger never got caught with drugs. He always got caught for the shooting and stuff. Never got caught with drugs. Keith went to the feds for hustling, cause Keith gave a big block party. I think it was Juneteenth. At Gerard's Records, and it was a big old parking lot. There's a Wood Bell Bonds and everything, because I used to work for Wood at the Bell Bonds and Company and everything, and I was the manager of his security company. So Keith gave a big old party up there. So it's packed, and then all of a sudden, a lot of Dodge Ram trucks and vans came pulling up, about to run over everybody, and they got on masks over their face, right? But
They do this at the block party?
At the block party. It was the feds. But let me take you back a little bit before then. When Keith had went to jail once before, he had met this guy in jail. This how the feds go out of their way to get you. He met this guy in jail, and they became good friends. So Keith got out of jail first, but he left his information with the guy and told him to holler at him when he get out. So when the guy got out, months later, he came and hollered at Keith, but I'm sure he had been got out the same day Keith got out. So they started hanging together, and Keith hooked him up with all of his connects. He started traveling out of town with Keith, doing everything with Keith. So during the time when the feds ran up at the block party, that guy was one of the feds.
Ooh.
So he knew all of Keith's business.
Ooh.
And he the one busted Keith. So they was
But
on.
he met him in jail.
That's how far the feds go to catch you.
They'll put one in the jail with. Damn.
That same guy was one of the feds that busted him when they ran up at the block party.
Was he a fed who was just lingering looking for something, or he was put there specifically to get with Keith? And
He was put there as an undercover.
Yeah.
He was an undercover, and he knew all of Keith's business because him and Keith had got real tight.
Right, he didn't already told him everything.
Because Keith thought he was just a nigga that was locked up in jail, and became cool with him. And then they became cool, and then when they
the feds.
he was the feds, and then when they was busting the block party, they on radios. Cause Keith had one of his BMWs at this girl house. He had stuff at his mama house and everywhere. They done ran up and everything at the same time. So they on the radio talking about, we in this address and we in that address. They done busted everything at the same time. And that's how they got it.
God damn. So, okay, what was your decision to say, all right, I'm getting out the streets?
My kids. I had to get out for my kids. Even though what I didn't know then, they had already seen too much.
Because your son ended up going in at a young age, right?
At a young age. And they had already seen so much. I should have got out years ago, but the money was just so lovely. It's hard to leave that money behind. And when I got out and started working a regular job, it was like I was so depressed.
I was gonna ask you, how is that transition? Because I mean, now you got a schedule, you got to be here the same time every day, you got to leave the same time every day.
I always had a job, like at Wood Bell Bondsman and Jefferson Davis Hospital. I always kept a job.
Even while you was hustling, all the
While I
stuff we
was
talking
hustling,
about.
because I counted where my money was coming from when the laws messed with me. But even though I was making way more money, I had too much money in the bank to account for. And I always had a job, but when it came to the point where I got out the street and just was relying on the job, it wasn't enough money. It just came to making me depressed and down and stuff, and it was hard not to go back in them streets.
Did you make an exit plan? Like, all right, I'm gonna save X amount of dollars and then I'm going straight.
Yeah. And then I got out. But even when you save a certain amount of money and you're working, that money don't last forever, because you instead of issuing money out, paying bills, paying house note.
Are you trying to keep up with the lifestyle too?
I'm trying to keep up with the way I look and everything. Like right now today, I got 400 and something pair of heels, and I can't even walk in them no more because of the stroke. But I won't give them up. And yeah. Because I always liked to look nice and stuff, but it was hard. You can't keep up. If you ain't hustling, you can't keep up with that street life. working a regular job unless you at a chemical plant, making $100,000 a year, a lawyer, a doctor, something like that.
Yeah.
Then you can keep up with it.
Yeah. And then, we were talking off air about, how you ended up having some health issues, and, that was kind of a different blow for you.
Yeah.
I was listening to some of the stories, though, because you had it was a brain tumor, right?
Yeah, I had a pituitary brain tumor on the left side of my head. And one Easter Sunday, 2012, I was in the house and I just fell to my knees because my head was hurting. And my ex-boyfriend at the time had called and said he was outside. And I made it to the garage to let the garage up, and he rushed me to this emergency center in Pearland. And I'm hollering and screaming, and they ran x-rays and stuff, and the doctor came back and said, I don't see nothing. I can't find nothing. And I'm like, B, you think I'm hollering and screaming for something? For nothing, something is wrong. So I went home that night, and it got worse. And so I got up and drove myself to St. Luke's Hospital, and they did an MRI, and the brain tumor was covering the whole left side of my face. I didn't know I had lost my left eyesight at the time. A portion of like it covered my right eye. I can't see nothing to the left, and it had did so much damage. And so I had went to the emergency center yesterday, and they say they didn't see nothing. And she said, how could they not see something and this thing bigger than a baseball in your head? So I end up, it was so big, I end up having 4 brain surgeries. I had one, I healed for 6 to 8 weeks. Then I go in and have another one here from 6 to 8 weeks. And it done rolled over to 2013 by the time the 4th brain surgery. So by the time I had the 4th brain surgery, you lose a lot of friends and everything when you go down, when you get sick and stuff. When you get out.
That was revealing for you? Like, that's when you saw
Yeah.
who was really down?
I lost a lot of friends and stuff. And my daughter got tired of being there for me, tired of my boyfriend, who I was with for over 15 years. He got tired of me. And so when he picked me up from the hospital that night on the frame brain surgery, the doctor told him, don't leave her alone because it's her 4th brain surgery, and the more surgeries, the worse the brain is, and she can't do nothing for herself. So we get home, and he's talking about, I ain't got time for this, I gotta go. So he left me there, and I wasn't supposed to be by myself. So I lay down in the bed, and it had came to the point where I had to get up and use the restroom. And I couldn't even lift myself up, like on the couch now, to get in the restroom because he had done left me. And so I finally hold on to the wall, and I went through a lot of stuff to get to the restroom. I didn't had to cry out because I'm not going to pee on myself. And I finally got to the restroom. So I woke up the next morning, and my phone had rung, and I was trying to say hello, and I couldn't. And they kept saying, Charlotte, what's wrong with you? And I was trying to talk like, wouldn't nothing come out. So I said to myself, I done had a stroke. So I forced myself to get up because I wanted some water. And as I was trying to get in the kitchen, I'm bumping into the walls because that's how a stroke do you. Your body be trying to go one way and it goes the other way. So I say I done had a stroke. So I'm so fed up with all these brain surgeries and this stroke. I know I done had a stroke. I sit in the house for 5 days crying, depressed, because I'm tired. And my daughter finally come over, and I get her to take me to the hospital. And I go in the emergency room in St. Luke's. I say, I done had a stroke. They say, well, how long it been? I say, 5 days. They say, is you crazy? They say 5 days. I'm surprised you still talking and stuff. But I knew I had a stroke, and I had I had one of these balls. I had a soft ball that was on my dress. I don't know where I got it from, but I knew I had had a stroke and something was wrong with this side of my body. So as I be watching TV, I hadn't went to the doctor yet. I just played with that ball and messed my hands because I already know what's wrong, but I don't want to go. So the doctor say by you messing on that ball all those days, help your hands and stuff. But it just you lose a lot of people because I was with that guy for years, and I was older than him, and all of his homeboys and stuff used to be so jealous of us and used to say, well, Charlotte older than you. When she get older, she gonna be looking like an old lady and then you ain't gonna want her no more. But right now today, I look better than him. And his homeboys gal. And I'm older than all of them. But you just can't depend on nobody. When you get down, they gone. And then it took like 3 years for me to get myself through therapy and get back up and get myself back together. And then when I get myself back together, I start they couldn't get all the tumor out because it was so big. So I started having to go having laser treatments for them to laser it out. So I started getting myself back together, dressing myself back up. So I sat up on the bed one night and my body started transforming. My hands started, just coming back out. My legs started doing some different stuff, and my toes and stuff. And I transformed. And I called my doctor. I said everything. If it just felt funny, my body just was coming back to normal because I had got me a treadmill and an exercise bag. Everybody gave up on me, but I didn't give up on myself. So I started running on that treadmill every day and using that exercise back, and my body started coming back. So when I started getting back up and getting myself back together and dressing up and stuff, that same nigga, after 15, 16 years, saw me, started calling me, wanted to be with me and everything. Nigga, you left me when I was sick. Yeah. You listened to everything that your homeboys that was saying, but your homeboys that wanted to be with me. And I always used to tell him, I said, your homeboys don't know the person that I know. I said, because you sit up with me and you talk about every last one of your homeboys. You talk about how they borrow money from you, talk about their gal, how this nigga got a vet and can't even pay his bills and he done went and bought a vet. And as one of his own boys, this black ass nigga, I can't stand his ass. He was always worrying about our relationship. But down there when you get down, they not there.
Damn, you a real fighter, Charlotte.
They not there.
You are a true fighter.
Like Big Metro, that's my homeboy. He used to be outgoing. He can't walk or do nothing for himself now. And I call and check on him and try to be there for him as much as I can. Because I know how it is for people not to be there. And everybody used to be at Big Metro house. Now Big Metro house is empty. And he can't walk or nothing.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Man, what how is because you said you and your mom y'all never got close even at this time.
No, we just stay at each other. Like she calls me all the time, but I answer the phone. Like I hear people always say this saying about, oh, she's still your mom. But what about what the mom did to the child? Do the child really supposed to give your mom for abusing you? She abused you because of what this man did to her. And it wasn't your fault. You didn't have nothing to do with that. And then when I sat down just about a year ago and told Roger some things that she did to me that I had never told nobody, he gets mad at me. So when does the other person, what rights does the other person have? So don't matter what your mom do to you, it's supposed to be okay? Yeah. I'm not good with that.
Yeah.
I'm not good with that at all.
No, I understand. I understand. I understand. Well, Miss Charlotte, man, I appreciate it. This been real cool sitting down here talking to you. I came down, sat on my new couch. I, got the new. I'm glad I waited because I was gonna call you about a year ago, and I'm like, nah, I'd have called her. You the nigga with the fucked up couch.
Oh yeah, in February when we had the freeze last year, all my pipes busted in my house, so my house flooded out. So I found out that the nigga that had left me when I was sick, that I went with all them years, he got a company that remodel homes and stuff, right? So I called him. I said, I'm going to let him remodel my house. And I ain't going to pay him shit because I done paid him for years. So I called him. So I paid his workers. But I come to find out the money, the $4,000 here, the $2,000 there that I was paying him to pay his workers, he wasn't getting all the money to his workers. So he was making money off it anyway. But he would tell everybody, we got the hair up on Charlotte House because I ain't making no money off of it. But he really was. But I told my son, I said, don't say nothing. I just want this nigga to finish my house. And when he finished my house, I ain't going to have nothing to do with it. And I let him finish my house, and I ain't called that nigga since. I'm going to do you like you did me. Nigga, fuck you.
That's how it go. That's how it is sometimes,
But it was good to meet you, Mr. Houston.
Yeah, this is cool. I'm going to have to probably have you come back. I got some other stuff I'm working on, too. I'm going to have to call you for.
Okay.
But, I appreciate you coming through.
It was good to meet you.
Yeah, likewise.
And y'all know this, audience. He got a new couch.
Hey, man, I'm not messing with Charlotte, man. Listen, it's the Donnie Houston podcast. I'm Donnie Houston. This is Charlotte. You know what I mean? Appreciate y'all tuning in, man. We out here.
Donnie Houston.
Subscribe to the Donnie Houston podcast, man.